New Smyrna Beach Preservation Commission for Wednesday, June 11th, and it is come to order. Please silence your cell phones. And if I could have a roll call, Ms. Stephanie?
Yep. Walter Bone,
Present.
Catherine Kaufman,
Present.
Stephanie Rees,
Here.
Angela Beretta Herman,
Here.
and Terry Bledsoe.
Here.
Okay.
All right, thank you. And if I could get an approval of the agenda, or if there's any changes to the staff.
No changes.
Okay, then can I get approval for the agenda?
I approve the agenda. Move we approve the agenda.
You don't need to motion to approve the
Oh, you don't
agenda.
need to.
No,
Okay.
you can just go on to the next thing.
All right, carry on then. How about the minutes? Approval for the minutes for the July 10th and March 12th.
I'll move that we approve those two minutes, the 12th of March and the 10th of July.
July 10th, 2024, and March 12th, 2025. I need a second.
Well, on March 12th, I have a question. I thought
Sure.
Mr. Bone was chair or vice chair. It wasn't me,
It wasn't you? Why did I think it was
correct?
you?
Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Oh, it was.
So that needs to be corrected
Okay.
in those minutes, please?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Most definitely. I'm sorry. Why did I think it was you? Or maybe because you were in
Because
place.
it's bothering you.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, if that's the only correction that I
Okay,
would see.
most definitely.
Okay, so we're good?
Yep.
Okay.
We had a second. We're going to approve
I
those
second
minutes. Okay.
With the changes?
With the change
Okay.
to Walter Bone.
All right. All right. Vice Chair Bone? Yes or no?
Yes.
The minutes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Member Kaufman?
Yes.
Member Beretta Herman?
Yes.
Member Bledsoe?
Yes.
And Chair Rees?
Yes.
On the motion, yes. On the motion to approve July 10th, 2024, and March 12th, 2025 regular meeting minutes with the changes requested, the vote is 5 in favor, 0 opposed, the motion passes.
Okay. At this time, we have public participation for any item that is not on today's agenda. If we have any of that, please come forward. You have 3 minutes. If not, we'll move on. We have no old business, but there are a couple items under the new business. So this is for a public hearing to review a request for certificate of appropriateness for the exterior renovations on building located at 403 Magnolia Street. City staff, you have a report?
Yes, ma'am. So the property located at 403 Magnolia Street is located on the east side of Magnolia Street, just south of the Lytle Avenue overpass. The building was constructed around 1924, and it was the original clubhouse for the New Smyrna Beach Women's Club. The building was used for club meetings with the wrong direction there. Here we go. And social events. It was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1989. It was a contributing structure in the National Registered Historic District in 1990. It received the Donna D. Miller Preservation Award back in 2010. It received a local landmark designation in 2018. The city purchased that property in 1990, and that property was sold in 2024. So on the 1983 Florida Master Site file, Mary Ann Peters, which was a historic site specialist with the Florida Department of Transportation, she listed the architecture as Mediterranean Revival or Mission style. She also listed that the estimated date of construction was around 1924. Also on that file in 1984, it was the opinion of the State Historic Preservation Officer that the building was eligible for the National Register based on building architecture and the association with the town's civic function. On the 1986 updated Florida Master Site file, which was completed by Historic Preservation Associates out of St. Augustine, Florida, also listed the type of construction as Spanish with an estimated construction date of 1924. The report also stated that the structure does show up on the 1924 sandboard fire maps. So in 2022, the property received a certificate of appropriateness from the Historic New Smyrna Beach Preservation Commission for foundation repairs, structural repairs, electrical, plumbing, including water and sewer, mechanical, fire prevention, and roofing replacements. And currently, the applicant has moved on to Phase 2, which would include exterior renovations. That would also include a new stucco, new exterior paint, decorative facade improvements, new awnings, exterior doors, landscaping, ADA ramps, and converting it to an underground electrical service. The phase of the building renovation was estimated at about $198,000. The property owners have applied for a large-scale commercial community redevelopment agency grant to help pay for those costs of those exterior repairs. So the applicant has provided some site photos for the commission. This photo was taken from Magnolia Street, showing the front facade of the building. These photos show the exterior status of the building. Extensive repairs so far have been done. Here are some additional photos, including the current electrical service. The applicant also provided photos showing the current condition of the tile that's on the patio. So the applicant has provided an elevation drawing, and as you can see, the proposed elevations would include an ADA ramp and railings, a stucco finish with white paint, new exterior multi-light doors, an underground electrical service. They're going to propose a new wall sign, and they're going to install multiple awnings to the building. So when exterior renovations on a local landmark is proposed, the Historic New Smyrna Beach Preservation Commission shall review the application and use the following criteria from Section 50-8 of the city's Code of Ordinances for approving or denying the application for certificate of appropriateness. Number one, the effect of the proposed work on the landmark or the property upon which such work is to be done. Number two, the relationship between such work and other structures on the landmark site or other properties that are in the historic district. Three, the intent to which the historic, architectural, or archaeological significance, architectural style, design, arrangement, texture, materials, and the color of the landmark or property will be affected. Number four, whether the denial of a certificate of appropriateness would deprive the property owner of reasonable beneficial use of his property. And finally, whether the plans would be reasonably carried out by the applicant. So the planning department has evaluated the application based on that general criteria from Section 50-8 of the City Code of Ordinance. And during that evaluation, the planning department has determined that the applicant can meet the general criteria. And based on that evaluation, the planning department would recommend the Historic New Smyrna Beach Preservation Commission to approve the certificate of appropriateness for the exterior renovations to the contributing structure and local landmark located at 403 Magnolia Street. And that concludes my presentation, such as any questions that the commission may have.
Okay, thank you.
Bob, when was the building named as a landmark? Do you have a year on that?
Yes, ma'am. I think I have it right here.
Have it.
It's okay if you don't. I don't have it in my head. but-
2018.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. On the application for appropriateness, they aren't supposed to start any of the renovations until they get that? Is that
Well, they had a demolition permit because they had to remove to see what the damage was.
right?
And so their permit allowed them to a certain scope to get in and start demoing materials away to see what the problem was, because the contractor that the city had at the time said it was fully engulfed with termites. And so the property owner, as they've removed those, did not really see termite damage, but water damage. And so now that they've removed all the damaged material and now it's all lathed in and they're ready to put the exterior materials, they're applying for a grant for that, and they're asking for certificate of appropriateness that the stucco and the white paint and the other facade treatments they want to do would meet the architectural value of that structure.
Okay, because I see there's new windows in these pictures. They look like new windows already installed, so just wondering aesthetically if they match and are appropriate.
I would not know. I'd have to look
Okay.
into the
All right.
site and see what the windows
I
look.
was just trying to understand the order.
Right, it wasn't on the
the
list.
sequence.
It
Okay.
wasn't on the list of materials that he said that they were replacing on the facade. That's why I included that in the package, so you could see what the application that went to the CRA for their grant money.
Okay, perfect.
Well, I had the same concerns because the windows just look like new aluminum windows, that won't have any trim or any kind of indentation on the wall. And so, aesthetically, and that's what our concerns are, aesthetically from the exterior, it seems as though it would be more appropriate to have windows that were in keeping with the original style.
Yeah, I'm not sure what windows are being used. That wasn't part of his application. He didn't ask for those windows, so I'd have to go and visit and see what windows he's put in.
I guess there is a possibility that those are just temporary, just
Maybe.
for weather and everything else, just to kind of seal up the house.
Right, and I don't know that, and the applicant can't answer that tonight because
Yeah.
he's out of the country, so.
Okay, is there not a representative here?
Yep,
Yeah.
there it is.
Oh, okay, sorry. All right, well, then maybe if there's no questions directly anymore for Bob.
Just some comments, I think, in support of the application, if that's acceptable. As many of you know, I've been intimately involved with this project since last summer and have been able to watch the renovation of this building on at least every other week basis. So I was able to see what they've done. I've also have a film crew filming the renovation and talking about the history. 3 of those little clips are already on YouTube, and there's another one coming out in the next few days. The one thing that has been really amazing to me is the response of the community about this building. I thought last summer when the issue of demolition came up, there was very little comment happening. But once people learned about this building and it's the place in the history of New Smyrna Beach, people came up to me on a fairly regular basis saying, I went to a recital there, I was at a graduation, there was a party there that I went to, a wedding. When the building was on the New Smyrna Beach Residents Coalition home tour, it was open for people to come through at that point, and over 300 people signed a guest book, and many commented on how they had been familiar with this building or their parents were familiar with this building. So I think it really is a contribution to New Smyrna Beach, and I think it's a really good example of the importance of us maintaining these old buildings in New Smyrna Beach.
Okay. If the applicant or representative is here, do you have any, you want to say anything or want to answer some questions for us?
Yeah, my name is Harrison Hodges. I live in Longwood. I'm Curtis Hodges' son, Lord Hodges' son. I'm also a roofing contractor and also Curtis's heir apparent and financial partner in this. And I'm probably the guy that really pushed Curtis. I'm his son. My background is I used to work for Historic Highland Manor in Apopka in college for 4 years. And so I really saw the value of, what a venue like this could provide. And it was kind of a dream to me. I saw the money in it, but also just in service. I have a few other businesses in Orlando. But, when you asked about, starting the work, of course, in roofing, that building had a lot of issues. As you recall, the history of it, there was a fire. It's interesting, too, when I took the roof off, the flat roof off, it actually had an original metal roof over it, even though it was a very low slope roof. And of course, we had to do a lot of repairs to the decking and trusses. So I think our biggest concern is just, hey, we had this building, we needed to get it watertight. And there will always be some things that change with time, right? whether the windows or, I'm not really sure what Curtis's direction. Curtis's job is to steer the ship, get that building kind of set up, and then from there, I'll come in with my experience to kind of get us up and running. And it is our dream and goal to bring it to fruition where you've got this beautiful historic, property that you can show off. Because what's funny about that is, what's funny, Curtis, I keep telling him, we're not selling an event. You've got not just people that are your age, we've got younger people, and of course, a lot of younger people come here for beach and stuff like that, but they're also the ones that are engaging in events and venues. So it's kind of cool that you see both generations, mine and his, that are still wanting to do something in a building like that, whatever the event would be. So that is really interesting, kind of getting to learn to be a part of this process. And the only thing I know of being a young guy is things take time. But we appreciate your time and looking at this for us. But it's been a process. It's a fun process for Curtis, and he chooses these things. He's in his legacy years. I tell him now what's fun about where he's at. He gets to pick the projects that he wants to do. They're not for money. It's for what he loves. And this is definitely something I've seen him do in the last 10, 15 years in this town, is kind of pick projects and properties. And I know it's weird. He's an interesting guy, believe it or not. But this is the stuff that he just is. If you say he can't do something or it's impossible or it costs too much, Curtis gets excited. And that's what his fun is. He's an artist. And then I'm kind of the other side of the coin, which is I'm the operational guy that looks at things. And so it probably more in this case, it was my dream to have something like this, and he's been, getting us to that point. So I appreciate you guys kind of looking at this with us.
What exactly is the question with the windows? Are you talking about the south side that he put in, or are you talking about the front elevation?
Well, it's hard to see the front elevation because it's under the porch area,
Right.
but from the side, it looked like just standard windows. And maybe when, it's trimmed out with the stucco and everything, they won't be flat. I would suggest that it not be like a typical home that's built with stucco and then the windows are slapped on the outside without any indentation or any kind of...
I think didn't they put those in, Bob? Didn't he put the
I,
mullions in?
I've been over there with those windows. I know,
Yeah.
I don't know the details, but it seemed to me that Curtis spent quite a bit of time finding the right windows that really fit architecturally. I would guess he would be doing some banding, I don't know, what did you call it, to the outside windows,
what
because certainly on the inside, it's very...
We talked about that.
It's very built out. All the windows have beautiful framings on them, and molding. So
But
I would
historically, they wouldn't have banding that extended out from the window. The windows would be inset in the wall. And that, it's, I'm just throwing that out there.
And I'm not necessarily suggesting that we go back in time, because we obviously want it to be properly flashed, with the particular windows. But when I'm looking at the elevation, it's just a typical grid style window, French door. I don't think that was aesthetically of that time. And maybe it's just a rendering for graphical purposes, and it's not true to what's actually there. I'm just saying that the windows are pictured here as newly installed. I don't know if they're temporary, if those are the permanent ones, if there was ever any thought to it, because that's what we're supposed to be reviewing, is the certificate of appropriateness. If we're beyond that, then that's a different subject matter. So are you aware of the windows?
Yeah, I can't put a comment on it, but I'll ask him to
Okay.
make sure they put a rebuttal in.
And it doesn't really, and I'm just looking at the two estimates, and that's not part of our scope, that's part of the CRA, but I'm just assuming you put it in here for background information. But there's two estimates. One of them is you, seeing the logo on your shirt is the same as this one, right?
Right.
And then the other one, I guess, is maybe Laura. And there's no windows on here, so I'm assuming they're already purchased and installed. That's all I was asking, is aesthetically, if there was any thought to it. with regards to grid pattern. The door that's described in the estimate is not the door that's pictured. It says 3/4 panel, and the one that's in the picture is obviously a full gridded thing. So I think hopefully it's just a graphical thing, but that's all I have to look at to judge on
Fair.
as far as meeting the requirements of the certificate of appropriateness.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure we can ask our architect to update the
Just a
rendering.
minor question, really.
So you're saying you'd want to see some type of banding or something around those windows? Or no?
No, I think Kathy's trying to say that was not historically,
Correct. You know, if you look at a typical Mediterranean style from the 1920s, 30s, the windows were inset sometimes 4 to 6 inches because they were wood, and that gave them a little bit of protection, but it wasn't a situation where the stucco and the window were on the same plane, and then you had banding around it. That kind of came in the 70s and 80s and 90s, so, and like, we've said, it might be past that state at this point, and, I don't know what our purpose is here, at this point, if it's already determined that those windows are going to be in there.
Again, sometimes it's not worth the compromise of risking more water damage because you're sitting waiting for a board to approve windows when they need to go in. But
Right.
again,
Sure.
I was just trying to understand the timing. Looks like the application was done in April for the CRA. So, this was thought out back then, but we can get some resolution, but it may not
Yeah,
matter.
and really the front elevation is the most important, and that's undercover, and then with the landscaping, it's going to look great, and we appreciate all you're doing to make improvements on the building.
Yeah, and it's no criticism
Yeah, no,
to
it's-
the
yeah.
project at all, because, I'm, very impressed with,
Yeah,
The-
it's
the-
interesting, though, that the water on that side of the building is where we actually had the worst issue with the foundation of the floor. The slope of the building was probably like 3 inches off on that side, so that was a short miracle of getting that kind of leveled out. That was probably the most interesting part of, the renovation so far. But no, at least I do feel comfortable that we have a structure that now is 100% watertight. And something like the roof, you don't see the roof per se. Like I said, it had a metal roof, 100 years ago, literally 100 years ago. And what was wild was taking that up, and that we could never put a metal roof on a pitch like that now per code, of course, but also just feasibility. So, but no, I'll if you guys still have questions, I'll ask first to kind of address those a little bit better for us when it relates to the windows. So,
just knowing the care that Curtis has taken on the inside to renovate the building in time to the 1920s, that I would assume he's taken just equal time to make sure the windows are right. And he has to deal a lot with regulations as well around windows, so I don't know. I think you could ask. It's not,
Hurricane resistance.
it doesn't affect this approval of the CRA. I don't think.
Could I just remind you guys to use the microphones? Robert, can I just remind you guys to use the microphones, not have sidebar conversations? I
sorry.
want to make sure for the people who aren't here, they have the
Right.
benefit of your conversation as well.
So I think the question is it looks like he's used fend windows, which are usually attached from the outside, and then you've got your flashing and stuff you put around it. I think Ms. Coffin was saying that she felt that the window should have been a recessed window, like for that period of time where the windows were more recessed into the wall. And I just don't know if that's something that would be done in today and still have protection, or was that something that was done in the 1920s or 30s and really might not have been a good design? And I'm not an engineer, an architect, or a contractor, so I don't know the answer to that question, but I think that's what her issues is the windows doesn't look like it would be of a period type window. Even though we allow modern materials, I think it's the placement, the installation type of window is where she might be having having issues with.
Understood.
And it's beyond that now.
Right.
So and I agree, but if it wasn't presented to us beforehand to evaluate it before it was constructed, then at the very least, making sure that, the grid pattern is authentic to the era, which is, again, just a applied grill or, again, I don't know how the windows are actually manufactured. And even then, if you would have proposed that we would have suggested it be recessed as opposed to, face nailed, then you could argue that it's not as good as watertight. And I would have said that prevails sometimes. So I'm not criticizing, just trying to figure out the order and the purpose of that's what we're actually approving. Because the appropriateness is already past that, correct?
I'm not sure what the original appropriateness that was approved as well. We had one for the city, and I'm not sure if their plan included those windows or not. And maybe that's why Curtis just went with what was approved by the city prior, when we were actually going to renovate the building
Okay.
before we sold it.
All right, any other, I guess,
I have one question, because I couldn't figure out why. Why is the special covenant running with the land part of the materials for us to look at? I never could figure that out. I figured you might know why. Why was that part of the materials for us to consider? Is it something that's important with regards to
I'm not
this
sure.
renovation?
I'm not sure what you're
It's a
referring
special
to.
covenant from the city that was promised the state of Florida that certain things would be done, and it apparently was assigned then to the new owner. And it was part of these documents for us to review, and I'm not sure why. So I'm just curious, before we go any further, what was that about? I mean, did they get some kind of grant money, and that's part, like a lien on there or something for 5 years?
Bob, was that included in tonight's package, or are you just
Yeah.
referring?
For this ticket?
Right, so what I included was the full application to the CRA, so they could see what it is that they're applying for and how much money they're asking for and how much money was going to be spent on the project for this particular phase,
Okay.
which did include what they paid in their first phase or phase one of the renovation.
Okay. That was the only question I had.
but it shouldn't have any bearing on what we're voting on, correct?
It shouldn't have a bearing, but I wanted you to be knowledgeable of what application was submitted to the CRA.
Don't give me back as much information. Just kidding.
Well, he submitted it to us, so we forwarded it on to you guys.
Because now I want to pick that apart. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so staff is recommending to approve the certificate of appropriateness. Do we have any other questions for the applicant or any other comments? Any comments from public?
Yeah, just open public participation. Could you open public participation?
That was my opening.
Oh, okay.
Is there any comments from the public, or would the public have any comments that they would like to put on the record? All right. So public participation is closed. Any other city staff comments?
I think the reason why you saw that is that's part of their title, and so they included their title, and that's an addendum to their title for the covenant.
Okay. All right. Any other comments from the applicant, going down the list here, or discussions from the commission? Okay. So, do we have an emotion to approve the certificate of appropriateness?
I certainly will move to approve the proposed work on 403 Magnolia and for a certificate of appropriateness.
I'll second.
Okay. Any other further discussion from the commission? All right. So, commission, would you please call a vote?
Member Beretta Herman,
Yes?
Vice Chair Bone,
Yes.
Member Kaufman,
Yes.
Member Bledsoe,
Yes.
and Chair Reese.
Yes.
On the motion to approve CA-0325, 403 Magnolia Avenue, the vote is 5 in favor, 0 opposed, the motion passes.
Good luck.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is the Donadine Miller Preservation Award selections. So this is a public meeting for the selection of the winners for the 2025 non-residential and residential Donadine Miller Memorial Preservation Awards. Bob, you have a report for us?
Thank you. So we listed them as the 2025 awards, but we actually didn't give any for 2024, and we're starting to get some applications in now for the next cycle. And normally we take them to the end of the year. So if it was okay with the commissioner, we would probably like to label this as the 2024. And that way, since we're still in the middle of 2025, the applicants that we're getting now, we're going to have those till the end of the year. And then hopefully at the first of next year, you could see those applications. Because we didn't have any for 2024. And we were kind of behind in preservation awards ever since COVID. So it's like we finally got back up where we're only about 6 months away instead of, and so hopefully we can be back on track for next year. And I just want to leave that up to you guys because we didn't have any for 2024, and we would love to use this for 2024 and then give the people that are applying, because we just received one right now, and so we could hopefully get more before the end of the year and then give that one as 2025, but that's up to you guys. Otherwise, that would be 2026. And
So
we'd
both
have a year of no winners, and we would like to have a winner every year.
So these two applicants were submitted when?
We've had these applications for a while.
In 2024?
The one for residential, yes. We've
That
had
was
one for a while.
2024?
Yes.
And then the 2025, you said you just got?
Well, the one that's for commercial, we've had for a few months.
Sorry, for commercial.
But we didn't have them available for the last meeting.
Okay.
So, and so, but, I mean, we would do whatever the commission would want us to do, whatever year you want us to put on the award, that's up to the commission. But we could do them as 2024s, since we didn't have anybody for 2024. So, and then still be in the 2025 cycle now.
Is the commercial aware, or would they be opposed to receiving a 2024, even though they submitted for 2025?
I'm not sure if they just wanted to see if
They
they could
just
win
want
an
the
award
plaque.
for all the money spent on their building. So,
As long as they
in
get
fact,
the ribbon.
their application was emailed to us. They actually never even came and met, but we have been in communication with them. But we didn't actually have like a sit-down meeting with them. So I don't know if they really know what year that they're applying for.
Okay.
We just hate not to have a 2024 winners.
Yeah. I just think it's important to have winners every year, and even if we're 6 months behind, I don't think that's as significant as actually having the award for every year.
Right.
I mean, we're really trying to build a long list of Donadine Miller Award recipients in our city, and so I think it's important that we make this 2024 and by the end of the year have another set for 2025.
We just don't want to be holding applications for long periods of time. So
Well, I
right
think
now,
that
we're in
makes sense.
June, halfway through 2025. If we do this as 2024, then I still have the next 6 to 7 months to get applicants, and hopefully maybe by the December meeting or the first meeting in 2026, you'll have people to look at and make a selection for those awards. But we'll do either way. I gave you the list of all the previous winners, and as you can see, there's none for 2024.
I have a question. Did the work get performed on that commercial property in 2024? The restoration? The rejuvenation of that property? Because that's a 1957 property, and it sure doesn't look it.
Yeah.
Was
They-
it done in 2024?
Yes, they purchased it last year and started
Right.
renovation on it, yes.
There's very little information on the application about the project,
I
so
had to look it up.
I guess my concern is, I mean, it should be a prestigious award. If we want to recognize structures around town that are putting in the effort for historical preservation, I think that's different. So
There
I
was-
don't have a problem.
There was a lot of seekers
recognizing them.
for that property at 101 Canal. We met with a lot of different folks that wanted to buy that property. But this was actually, I think, the only one that said they wanted to renovate the building, where the rest of them, they just wanted to clean sweep. this person came in that bought it, and they wanted to do a multi-tenant building, and so they said since it was already kind of cut up that way from the county, that they would like to still cut it up and have multiple tenants. And really what they did was, they did a facade upgrade to it, but they did do a lot of modernization inside it. I mean, I used to go buy my tags there, and it was, it was pretty rough inside. It was like paneling walls and old, the county didn't really spend a lot of money maintaining the inside or outside. It was just offices for workers. But when this builder, or these folks, these owners came in, their whole thing was about renovating it, and to the point where we got into an agreement with them so they could utilize the landscape area out in front of them for seating. So there's an agreement with the city allowing them, and they're maintaining that landscaping island for us. So they asked if they could apply, and we're like, well, you're over 50 years old, so you qualify. And so, but it was the only applicant we had for commercial this year.
Okay. Anybody have,
So I'd like to go ahead and get the presentation started, and then y'all can decide what year you want to list the award for at the end of the presentation. All right. So the city created the Historic Preservation Award Program back in 2002, and then in 2009, the award program was renamed in memory of Donna D. Miller, which was an active volunteer and member of the community. Ms. Miller also served as the chair of the historic New Smyrna Beach Preservation Commission. She worked as an amateur archaeologist and participated in numerous other events and activities. While award recipients are encouraged to apply for local landmark designation, receiving the award does not place any type of restriction on the property. Also, each application will be evaluated on 3 criteria. It should be evaluated based on historical significance, which would promote and reflect the historic nature of New Smyrna Beach. It should also reflect the original architecture. It also should use appropriate materials or colors. Also, it should be evaluated for community significance. Does it maintain or enhance aesthetics of the city? Does it help and create a civic pride and prosperity to the welfare of the city? Or should it promote sustainability and a green design while preserving the historical character of the resource? 3 is charm, which is an aesthetic value, or the use of native landscape material. So first, the commission will be selecting the winner for the residential category. So the planning department did receive 1 application, and the address for that application was 402 Faulkner Street. The property is located on the northwest corner of Faulkner Street and Murray Street. The single-family house was constructed around 1912, and it's located within the National Registered New Smyrna Beach Historic District. It contains approximately 0.309 plus or minus acres of land, and the parcel was part of Lot 1 from the 1886 Chas Daughtery subdivision of the J.R. Finnegan Orange Grove. So statements from the application included the home is historically significant for its late 1800s Victorian or frame vernacular architecture. It is a beautiful restored example of homes that are built along Faulkner Street and Riverside Drive before and during the early 20th century. The 2.5-story home's notable architectural features include alternate shingle siding on the 2nd-story balcony, lap siding on the main part of the home, and a large wraparound front, side, and side veranda to take advantage of those coastal breezes. Also, historic and decorative knee braces that are under the raftered eaves. The home does show up on the 1912 Sanborn fire map. Also, in addition to the home's historical significant architecture, it's one of the original estate homes that were built when the orange groves succumbed to the growth along Faulkner Street and Riverside Drive in the late 1800s after the Civil War. This new boom was spurred by tourism, citrus farming, commercial fishing, and the development of the East Coast Railroad. It originally situated property between Mary Avenue to the north and Murray to the south. The home now rests on a 1/3 of an acre on the corner of Faulkner Street and Murray Street. And outside the home boasts of beautiful garden beds filled with native tropical foliage and lined with large coquina rocks. Indigenous palms still have a large yard, including the official state of Florida tree, the sable palm, as well as 2 queen palms, in addition of a variety of oak trees. And inside the home has original oil-rubbed oak floors, plaster walls and all of the original windows, including the diamond mullioned living room window, which fills the home with original character of the bygone eras when this home was built. Visitors to the home are warmly impressed by its original details and captivating charm. So the current owner is grateful that the home has escaped the modernization over the years, and the home remains one of the best examples of New Smyrna Beach historic gems in the Riverside Garden District, and hopefully deserving of the Donna D. Miller Preservation Award. The Planning Department staff would also like to thank the applicant for submitting their application. So at this time, the Planning Department is requesting a motion from the Historic New Smyrna Beach Preservation Commission to select a structure located at 402 Faulkner Street as the Donna D. Miller Preservation Award winner under the residential category.
Okay,
We'll talk about
we're going
this
to vote on this one or carry on? Okay, so we're going to, for 2025 or 2024?
I'm sorry, it's 2025 right now. That's how I look at it. I'm just a rules player.
Do we want to debate that, or we're just?
We're going to leave it up
I'm
to
going
you.
with
We'll
what
leave it
you've
up to you
applied
guys.
for.
So.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so, thank you, Bob, for the report. I know the residential property owner is present, so, any questions or comments? from the property owner?
Oh, I really don't have any questions or comments. I did apply last year, and I tried to, and I forgot to, Nelson had applied for me, and I didn't send it to Bob, so, then we just did it again this year. But, I kind of,
Whose property is this on? Is this somebody's, yours?
it's mine.
Okay.
So I agree with Angela.
She can't
about-
vote, but she can comment as the
Okay.
property owner.
Okay.
I agree with Angela about possibly not skipping a year, but it's totally up to you. I have no comment.
No other comment.
I kind of agree with that. It's nice to not have a gap in years. And I mean, I completely understand, I guess, both sides. But it would be nice, it just, raise questions, 2, 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the line where someone would say, well, what happened this year? Nobody had any decent properties to present or submit or what have you. It'd be nice just to be able to have somebody or some property, whether it be commercial or residential, on an annual basis. So I would propose that we, if they don't mind having the 2024 on there, we just tell them, we presented 2024 and say, oh, I'm sorry, it's a typo, we'll fix it later.
But that's the thing. If the homeowner thinks 2024 is fine, because you submitted it in 2024, basically, I'm okay with it, because your home is astounding. It's a treasure, and we are so lucky to have it, and for you to be its caretaker and to bring it to us. So if you're okay with that, what they want, that's fine, but it is just absolutely stunning. Thank you.
It's really, really,
Yeah.
really nice.
In terms of legality here, are we able to, do we need to change a vote for 2024 then? Or present a motion that this be awarded under the 2024 and then go back and reconsider the non-residential commercial application and propose that one? How do we?
So I think there's two things to consider. I'm looking at the date of the application, and it looks like it was December of '23, which means it wouldn't have been up for consideration given the frequency of meetings until '24 anyway. Given the pace of business and other things that you had to consider, if this is the first opportunity this board has had to consider it, I still think it's appropriate. You could award it in the year of '24 for the residential, and that's fine. That's a determination this board can make. And then separately, if you still have other applications coming in on the non-residential, you could also defer in terms of whether or not you're awarding a non-residential in '24 at all, or just determine, maybe something else came in the building department missed, we could certainly continue that part of the hearing to a future date, if you would prefer to handle it that way. But as Bob said, since there's still other applications coming in, there's a chance there will be some to award in '25, or maybe nothing else comes in, and then your last meeting of this year, you would decide just to award that one, the '25 award. But I think that's a conversation that the board can have.
Okay. Any other comments besides you?
Well,
I just think that the year should be in the motion, though, so that it's clear.
Yeah,
Okay.
because it was published as 2025, so that has to be amended.
All right, so I propose a amendment to the Preservation Award selection to 2020.
Are you doing a motion?
Yeah,
Okay, you have to do a motion.
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 Okay, to change the Donna Dean Miller Preservation Award selection to 2024. Is that all I need to do
For the
Residential.
residential.
for the residential?
I'll second.
Stephanie, will you call the roll? And I don't know if she can vote on that because it's
She
not really
cannot.
hers. She's
No.
voting on the award
Correct. So for the record,
change.
Katie Coughlin, you'll be abstaining as this is your property. Appreciate that.
And then I will forward her the form so she can fill out.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so Stephanie, if you will call a vote?
Yep. Vice Chair Bone,
Yes.
Member Beretta Herman,
Yes?
Member Bledsoe,
Yes,
and Chair Reese.
Yes.
On the motion to approve 402 Faulkner Street for the 2024 Donna Dean Miller Award, the vote is 4 in favor, 0 opposed, the motion passes.
Congratulations.
All right, so now the next award.
Yes, ma'am.
Participant.
So next, the commission will be selecting a winner for the non-residential category. The plan department did receive one application. The address for the application is 101 Canal Street. So the property is located on the northwest corner of Canal Street and Riverside Drive. The commercial building was constructed around 1957 and is nestled in an approximately 0.967 plus or minus acres of land, and it's located within the Canal Street Commercial District and the Arts Overlay District. The building previously contained the Volusia County Tag and Title Office, the Property Appraiser's Annex Office, and the local Sheriff's Department. And the photo here is a pre-renovation photo. The property owner purchased the parcel in 2024 and quickly moved to renovate the building to give it a modern update while trying to save that mid-century style of design. The building currently houses multiple businesses. So this photo was taken as pre-renovation from the side of the building that's facing Riverside Drive. And this is an updated photo. It may be hard to see, but the property owner installed bougainvilleas along the wall, and the public used this space for photos. And at this time, the planning department is requesting a motion from the Historic New Smyrna Beach Preservation Commission to select the structure located at 101 Canal Street as the Don D. Miller Preservation Award winner for the non-residential category. The planning department staff would also like to thank the applicant for submitting their application. Also, we'd like to express our department as currently accepting applications for this next cycle, and we want to thank all the applicants this year as well.
Okay, is the non-residential applicant here?
No.
No, okay. Any public comments on this particular applicant? Okay. Any comments from the commission?
I would really like to congratulate the company for actually developing a property that has such a contribution to that end of the street. I seldom go by, it's not someone sitting outside and enjoying their outside seating. And to be frank, I thought the old building was a real drain on the aesthetic of that part of the street. And the new building is just such a wonderful contribution to our city.
Agreed.
And Bob, do you know when that application was time-stamped in?
I'm not sure when the application, we've had it for some time.
Or
Um,
certificate of occupancy?
I just don't know if it was
of
before the
building?
holidays or after the holidays, but we've had it in our office for some time.
Okay,
So,
Oh, for one canal?
Yes.
One canal?
yeah,
so it was operational in '24?
yes. They purchased it in '24 and started doing the renovations in 2024.
Okay, but you don't know, like, CO, when the certificate, when it was actually functioning? And I know that's
No.
not the criteria for
Right.
the Donadine Miller
definitely was last
Preservation.
Yeah, I don't
Award.
have that information,
Okay.
unfortunately.
All right, but we're going to table this anyway for, is that what we're deciding?
I think that's up to the commission themselves.
Okay.
If they want a
Anybody else have-
motion to approve this for 2024, or if they want to table it and hold off for more applications, and they'll just be part of the cycle for the next series that comes through.
I'd like it to be 2024.
I think you brought the applicant to the,
Yes, I
To the
I
table, so
delivered
maybe
the
you know.
application to the office, and because I thought it really was deserving of this award. And so I think it is important to acknowledge what they've done, and I think it's important for our award system to actually have one for 2024, as I said before. This may not be the proper time to mention this, but I would really like us to consider having a notable celebration when these awards are actually given out by the City Commission. So I'm hoping that some of my colleagues here would be willing to go to the City Commission on that date and really make sure that has a more celebratory event feeling, because I think that sometimes it's not given enough honor.
okay, so in regards to offering this as the 2024 recipient, you are probably closer to the applicant than any of us
Right.
here. If no one has any objection or any further comments to it, I would think you should check with the applicant first, just to make sure that they don't have a problem with getting a 2024 award. And then we can vote.
It's at the pleasure of the commission. The next available time that we could bring this back to you would either be September or October. And so, and then they would be in the mix with whatever other applications that we get towards the end of the year.
I think this is at the half-year point, and it makes sense to me that we would give it for 2024, and then hopefully we can generate some more applications by the end of the year.
Yeah,
Okay, Angie, maybe you can answer this. Was the majority of the work done on that reno during 2024? And maybe into 2025?
It was done.
I know part of it was, but the stuff that's closest to Riverside is relatively new, from my recollection.
I think it was up and operational in the fall of '24
Yeah.
at the very latest. So I don't know that they would
Right.
be that concerned. I think it's a celebration of their
But she-
completion of the job, and it's more significant to have a 2024 date, to me, on the award.
Yeah, for their opening
For
or
what
grand
they
opening.
Correct.
The
Because that's
award
what
for the same date, that makes a lot of sense.
Because like Angie, I agree with you, the community significance and that everybody knows that place that's lived here forever. And it's like, wow, it looks really nice now
Yeah.
because it was just a mess. So they did a nice job and it's
Yeah,
very
they
still
did.
mid-century looking. They did a
I
good
think
job.
it's wonderful what's happening on Canal Street in so many different ways. And I think at the other end of the street is a
Yeah.
business that's just opened up that I think is really going to be a nice bookend to Canal Street.
I think my only comment is I'm happy to approve it, and I would back that. I just think can we not say, make a motion pursuant, the applicant is okay with it, and not have to come back for a vote for it? That could just be the
Yeah, you
stipulation.
can do a stipulation in the motion. I move to grant the Donna D. Miller Award for 2024 to the non-residential, the commercial applicant, 101 Canal Street, provided the applicant is acceptable to it being designated as 2024 and not 2025.
Well, she made the motion, right?
No, I
So
think
I amended it.
You're making the motion, okay.
Amended, yeah.
I'll
Amended
second it. I'll second it, so.
Okay, any other comments or discussion? Is that,
Yeah, you're
Maybe-
good. And like any other applicant, they could always refuse the award. Probably doesn't happen very often, but they could. So we'll see what happens.
They did a good job.
if they do, then they can come back and apply for 2025, and we're right back to where we were.
Oh, we just give them a Sharpie and they can hit amendment right there.
Okay, sorry, we have a motion and a second, no discussion, no further discussion.
Just want to just make one little note. They did apply for a change of use application. It was approved December 8, 2023. The change of use application changed whatever they had
Perfect.
to what was existed in 2023, and then they started their renovations right after.
We're good.
So that would be 2024.
There you go.
Then they should. I just want them to be aware that they're getting a 2024 before they get the plaque that says 2024.
And we can count on Angie probably to get that approval.
Okay, all right,
Well, thank you very much for giving me another job.
Sorry.
okay. Stephanie, you want to call a vote?
Yes, ma'am. Member Beretta Herman?
Yes.
Member Bledsoe?
Yes.
Member Vice Chair Bone?
Yes.
Member Kaufman?
Yes.
And Chair Reeves.
Yes.
On the motion to approve the 2024 Donna D. Miller Award for 101 Canal Street with the condition, the vote is 5 in favor, 0 opposed, the motion passes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I think that is that the-
Yeah, so we will notify the applicants, let them know what dates available for the city commission. We'll let you guys know as well what those dates are. The presentations are very early at the commission level, so you won't have to sit for hours waiting for that. It's very early in the agenda. They do all the presentations and awards and things like that, so.
Okay, and I would encourage again all of us to attend. If it's a date that I can be there, I will certainly be there.
Yeah,
I
I think
think
it's
strengthen
important.
numbers just to kind of help
Since we're
celebrate
giving
it.
jobs out, can I give a job to Stephanie and remind us when it's actually on the city
So,
commission?
real quick, I definitely will notify you guys, but just real quickly, the Historic Preservation Board for September 10th, there is a meeting, special meeting that is scheduled on that same day. So what I'm going to do is try to get this rescheduled in September, get you guys the dates, and then try to get that done. I'll just put it in an email to you guys. You guys all agree to it, everybody's fine, then I will send out a new date and time for that,
Okay,
okay?
Thank you.
thank you.
Budget.
Okay, so any other comments?
I have something I'd like to bring up, if it's all right. Stephanie? since
Yeah,
you're Okay.
You have the floor.
I would like us to take a look at, and I think Bob handed it out, Section 50-6 on the Historic Preservation Commission, and it lists our purpose and a number of activities that we've never really engaged in. I mean, I feel that once we went to a quarterly meeting, that it's been really hard to generate a lot of energy from the commission. And I just wondered if you could, I'd ask you to take a look at those purposes and to see if there's anything in there that you would like to maybe develop further, so that, I mean, I think I always feel like we're not doing quite enough to promote historic preservation.
Well, I've mentioned it before, and I still think about it all the time. As far as educating citizens, well, no, undertaking educational programs, I think it would be cool to do something like a photo contest for a calendar, but people don't use calendars, but some kind of contest-ish kind of thing with, a photo contest of historical sites or signs, like the Dairy Queen sign, or just, because we did that in Orlando, and it was, and I think they still do it, but it is just kind of an awareness kind of thing. It brings the community together, and, it's a thought, just something similar to that.
So you're proposing a calendar contest?
Yeah, and I realize people don't use calendars, but just some sort of photo contest that maybe it could be a start of a series of photographs that we could hang in City Hall, just somewhere. It doesn't have to be on a calendar. It could be in a book that's,
A photo contest.
some sort of a photo contest to highlight different historical sites in New Smyrna Beach.
That's a good idea, because we have all these little walls here that you could do one that's kids, like school-age kids, and one that's adults every year. And then you can just hang them in a place like that or in City Hall. That's a good idea. That way they get to see it too.
Yeah, there's some very good opportunities. As a landscape architect, I do a lot of hand sketching. I've been doing this, it's somewhat of a craze now, going back to 2016 or so, called urban sketching, where you'll go out in an urban scene, where you go out and do sketching, just kind of capture that moment, particularly architecture, the people, the landscape, any of the other elements that are, cars and benches, statuary, fountains. It's also, I hold this bi-weekly at my office, urban sketching sessions. And so everybody gets together, and we are between 5 offices around the country, and we do it through Microsoft Teams. So, even as you mentioned, photographs, a lot of kids have phones now. They can go out and take pictures of everything, but holding, where it could be, school children, or during school, or even have summer breaks where they can go out and meet. It could be at a park, sketching trees, sketching a building. Not all the details, of course, but as some of the artwork, and again, breaking it down, for age groups, professional, non-professional, because we already have, a great art scene here in New Smyrna Beach, and so maybe where the subject matter may be more historic place. I'm working on actually an ink watercolor now of City Hall. So I'm about halfway through with that, and I need to jump back on it. So I think it'd just be a pretty nice, along with the photos, children's artwork. Public library, a lot of public libraries have all these shows, all the time. So it'd be a great opportunity for photographs and sketching, paintings, whatever the medium that people want to use, and children as well.
Well, every year it could be specific to something. Like in Orlando, one year the theme was neon signs, and the next year it was doors, or the next year it might have been historic trees that have been around for a long time. You could theme it if you wanted to.
Local icons, like the rooster, like the sign
right.
over Flagler. I mean, I think it's
And you
really
could give them a
cool.
list of 12 things that would fall under the criteria of the contest. Just a thought.
And that's a way to get all age groups involved too. And people that
Right.
don't have a skill set that I can't draw, like I have stick figure, but I can use a phone.
Well, I was going to say it would be helpful to add a QR code to it that gave the history of it, because the intent would be to educate the public on
That's the whole,
just
the promo to do that, because you could do
Features.
I Heart Historic New Smyrna is the name of the thing, like a coalition. And it's an annual contest, and you have age groups.
Yeah, we can partner with the Historical Museum.
Sure. Greg would do
And,
that. Yeah, it's a good idea. And the coalition, or,
and we could set up at the Business Expo and promote it then, because that's usually in
yep.
March or April.
I was wondering if it's possible to even maybe partner with Plein Air from the artist workshops, and have one. They do several different sections, and so maybe we could kind of see if we could garner one of them for historic buildings. The other, I love the idea of trees. There's a tree in my neighborhood that has a palm tree with an oak tree wrapped around it, or
Cool.
one or the other, like a love knot tree. And I think it would be fun to get people to identify that kind
And
of
it's
tree.
neat, though, that you're teaching not just that there's historic buildings, there's more to history than just brick and mortar. It's the location, it's the history with regards to a lot of the things that are in town that nobody even knows about. So that's a great kind of a, you know, hands-on thing to do. Cool idea?
It's a great idea, but it takes organization
Yes, it does.
and time.
And I think to your point, we need to have more presence at these meetings. With only 4 hearings a year that we're slated for, we've tried to do these every other month, but not getting the room, right? We don't exactly
We-
have access to the,
We could look at expanding the calendar if that's the wish of the commission.
well, even if
You
we
know.
didn't have business, we could have
Right.
discussion on ways
You know.
to fulfill the requirements of the,
Yeah, originally
commission.
we met every month, and because of lack of agenda items, some of those meetings got canceled. Then we went to the quarterly because we had to meet at least 4 times a year, and then we slated dates that were soft dates in case we needed a special meeting. But if the commission wanted to go back and meet every month next year, or if they wanted to meet every other month, you know, we'll provide those time slots if that's what the commission wants to do. About the program that Ms. Kaufman brought up, we could partner maybe with the Leisure Services, which has a lot bigger outreach from the Babe James Center. We can get in touch with Mr. Salazar, the director over there. We'll have our director, you know, do that. And maybe it could be a partnership with them because they put out so much stuff through the city's website already. And then, you know,
Yeah.
so I'll get with Ms. Doster on that and then see if between her and Mr. Salazar, maybe they can come up with a program. I wrote some notes down, so, of categories and things like that. And maybe it could be photos as one, maybe at some point in time, it's artwork as one. So we could have different contests. So that way it could be mixed up. And like I said, different categories, you know, so you can mix up the categories, mix up the type of what you're looking for from photos or for artwork. And maybe that could be a program that could be established and have years of that, of doing that. And then there may even be some award or something granted to the person selected that had the best or whatever, and, you know.
I don't know about bandwidth. That's, you know, after, considering the kind of volunteer work I do, it
Yeah.
requires a lot of hours. And so, you know, but if somebody has the energy, other people will join in. So that's the thing. So if you're committed to this, I'm sure you'll find,
We'll see, it'd be good. Yeah,
Well-
you can get them interested.
think about it.
I can move,
We have that
yeah,
system already.
I can move the idea up the chain, and so they can communicate with the other departments, and then we can come back and
I
maybe
think it's
have
great to try to
somebody,
use systems
maybe have
that we
somebody
already have in
here
place.
to speak on that.
Right, and maybe someone at Leisure Services is just waiting for a chance to
Sure.
do something creative like that. I would head it up, but I'm in charge of Cheeseburger this year for Rotary, so I'm out. I'm out.
Can only take so much on the plate, right? Yeah.
well, and we have talked about before, members of this commission going out and providing a lunch and learn or something to civic organizations that speak about this commission, what our role is, just to get more presence at these meetings. 'Cause
Well, and I did think about that because we could set up a little presentation for the Rotary Club, and we have a lot of outreach.
Yeah.
And Stephanie could come and do a little talk, or any one of us, you know. And they would be helpful, you know, to
Yeah.
help us spread the word.
We also, I think, need to be somewhat careful about what's happening with the charter. The Charter Commission is meeting, I think, next Tuesday at 6, and they are considering some aspects of the charter with regard to historic preservation and the tree ordinance. I spoke last time on it and tried to present some material about the energy, I think, that we're developing in the community around historic preservation. But really, I was the only one there. So, I mean, it's like, we need more people. And then it's going to go before the city commission as well. And one of the members of the charter committee said, rather than weakening the provisions in the charter, we should really be strengthening them. So I think that's a reflection there. But so if anybody has chance to go, I think it's important to show up, and new faces would be more than welcome.
Okay. Any other comments?
I just have one about the banyan tree. I think that we have to give a shout out to Lisa Martin for pushing the banyan tree as a landmark, which I think is a really important movement forward, because that banyan tree is really fascinating.
It is.
It may not be a banyan at all. It may be a ficus, but it doesn't matter, really. It's still a banyan to the rest of us, so.
Real quick, before you adjourn, date, look on your calendars for September 17th, 2025 at 5:30. I'll send you guys an email about that time. It's just a week after the
Okay.
original date of the 10th. It's just the following Wednesday. And if you guys are good with it, I will get that locked in.
What's that date again, sorry?
September 17th, it's Wednesday, the following Wednesday. Just was looking on the calendar, I don't see anything on there.
That's good for me.
I'm not sure.
I'll confirm with anybody else.
I'm going to see the grandchildren, so I'm not sure if we were back that day, but I'll try to
I'll
manage it.
just send an email, make sure you guys have it, just for confirmation.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
I do have one more comment. You know, we're short 2 members, so if any of you know somebody who would like to apply and try to be on this commission, they can submit those applications to the city clerk's office, so. We'd love to get back to 7. 5's rough because we need 4 for a quorum, and if a couple of you are ill or out of town, it can cause a meeting not to happen. So we'd like to have back to 7 if we could, so,
I have sent out a couple of emails already.
all right, thank
2,
you.
3 weeks ago. So.
The public is also welcome to apply if they have any interest. All right. All right. Hearing nothing further, we can adjourn.
Thank you.